Good evening and welcome. Chris Upton in the house. Just got in on time. Well, I'm 5 minutes late. You'll have to forgive me on that one. Nobody's here because I've only just opened up the room, so I'll give everybody 5 minutes, 5 minutes to come in if they want to come in. I had problems loading this evening for some reason. It just would not load. Evening, Chris. And Sue says, Denver, you're first in the house. Well done. Congratulations. Literally been trying for the last 10 minutes for it to open and it wouldn't open. So I don't know why that was. But anyway, people seem to be finding me now. So good evening to you, Frank, Casey, and Denver Skinner. 2 people. Have we only ever had 2 people? Tim Weston's in the house as well. They're coming in now. They're coming in thick and fast. Anyway, good evening, Gary Marriott, Chris Devell. Anybody going to look at the blue moon? I didn't know it was a blue moon. Nobody told me. Yeah, normally I put up a link to say that I'm going live and people will come in. So I'm just giving it a couple of minutes. Unfortunately, it just wouldn't load and open this evening when I wanted it to. It's just typical, isn't it? So what's been happening? Dog training wise? Well, nothing today. Absolutely nothing. Took the wife out. She's here. She's in the background. Honestly, I spoil that woman. Once a year. Um, 13 people in the house. And I've raced to get here tonight. Evening all took me a while to get in. Yeah, it took me a while to get in as well. You're not the only one. I think. Have you noticed? I went to all the airports, weren't they? All the airport terminals packed up, didn't they? No one could fly anywhere because all the computers went down. I go into Waitrose. I get some food, and all of a sudden come around the corner and it looks like Armageddon. The queues are absolutely unbelievable. Line up, and they go on the Hanoi, I'm sorry, but all the tills have crashed. Unless you're a Waitrose member, we can't serve you because we can't take any cash and we can't take any credit cards. Well, the machines have crashed. And then they go and do this to me tonight. They absolutely do this to me tonight. I can't get in because the computer's going, try again. Oh my God, Gary's been busy with Choco, with training the Corleone way. There you go, Gary. Well done, mate. Well done. And it's really, if you think about it, technology is great when it's working. It's a freaking nightmare when it stops. My bank card, not a credit card, my bank card, you can put it in the machine and put your number in, but it won't scan at the moment. It does your bloody head in. And then they go, why don't you do Apple Pay? Well, sometimes I don't take my phone with me. How can you pay by Apple Pay if you haven't took your phone with you? Yeah, says Graham Hanson. Trouble finding you tonight, Chris. Yeah, exactly. Me too, but just my own dogs. What the hell's that mean?
Answering Gary.
What about seeing a blue moon?
No, Chucker with training the Corleone way. And correct them will come back me too, but just my own dog.
Oh, he's very pleased with his new pup. Well done, Denver. So, I've upset a few people, haven't I? I've upset a few people because I put a video up about our friends across the pond with their pointers, because I love watching all aspects of dog training. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing finer than watching a good pointer cover the ground in front of them, go to point, hold the point, produce, and watch the gun shoot it, and then the dog picks it. It's majestic. It's fantastic. But when I see pointers running around like headless chickens and blokes walking around with guns, like, I'm not being rude, but like hillbillies, and screaming and shouting about, and the dog's running around in front of them, I think to myself, bloody hell, is that the way they do it across the pond? Now, I'm sure they don't all do it across the pond like that. I'm sure they don't do it all across the pond. But could somebody put me on to some good pointer videos that are not overly manufactured just to sell the aspect of pointers, but the training side of it, If you've got a pointer and it goes to point, and the point is quite natural, isn't it, for the dog in genetics? The skill set is teaching it not to chase when it flushes and you lift the gun. But if you lift the gun and you don't stop that dog running in, that's going to get worse and worse and worse. No different than a spaniel. But the prey drive in the pointers seems to be higher than it does in the spaniels, in my estimation of watching them and working with them. So what is the point of having a dog that is flushing stuff so far out? Now, you could say, okay, they're running ahead and we want the dogs to cut them off. We'll teach the dogs to go out and work the wind back and bring the birds back over you. But to push the birds further and further back, if you looked at the barrels on those guns of those boys across the pond, they're really long, really, really long. And they're using heavy shot because what they're doing is they're wanting it to get out further. So with the long barrels, that's what gets that shot out there. But then the dogs are running around in the cover, and it's not easy. That cover is really testing the video I put up for us to debate and look at. It's really challenging for the dogs, but dogs were running around like headless chickens, weren't they? And the owners were coming across the birds before the dogs were, in some cases. So it's so easy to get yourself into trouble with our friends across the pond, isn't it? It's not to criticize in a nasty way. It's to educate. It's to educate and show people why I'm not a great fan of pointers. And yet, don't get me wrong, to watch them work well is majestic. It's majestic. And I like the fact that everybody in the group, I think they put the Kevlar vest on to protect them in the cover as well. I think that, but like you say, Gary, in my opinion, some of the shooting, as the bird got up and the dog was chasing, they were firing just over the top of the dog's heads, weren't they? And I don't find that very sporting, in my opinion. If the dog goes wrong, I don't shoot at it. Now, you could say, well, the shooting was the be-all and end-all for those guys. And if that's your cup of tea, then fine. But I don't think it's good promotion. It's good promotion to the sport. It's a little bit sort of wild, wild west, isn't it? Well, it was wild, wild west, wasn't it? It was out in the desert. Okay, so any questions? Fire away. We've been on here for 9 minutes, 22 people in here. You've managed to find me. My obsession for pointers here is generally uncontrolled bedlam. They don't put a stop on, or very little control. Yeah, but you've got to ask the question why, Nigel, don't we? You've got to ask the question why. Now, I like a natural dog, don't get me wrong. But don't you want a dog pointing, flushing on command, but stopping, then retrieve when told? They seem to have a few in reserve, says Graham. Yeah, just in case we hit one. But like I say, have we got a right? It's the same as let's talk about American politics. Have we got a right to talk about Trump? Well, they talked about us and Boris Johnson. Don't we have a right to talk about Trump and Biden? But hey, horses for courses is down to them, isn't it? Yes, but you don't seem to see it here. See what here, Nigel? See what here? I want to see some. I actually want to see some good videos of pointers anywhere, not just here, anywhere. Germany, anywhere. Italy, anywhere. Oh, I did see a good pointer the other day. I watched Kelly's Heroes, and there was a pointer tied up in a farmyard when Kelly's Heroes came into that village to steal that gold. I got quite excited. A German pointer in a French village. I'm surprised not been stoned to death. Now, it was totally under control. Now, does anybody watch Kelly's Heroes? Does anybody remember that pointer? And do you understand why it was completely under control? Why was the pointer in Kelly's Heroes completely under control? I'll tell you why. Because it was chained up like a sheepdog one used to. You know, they used to put sheepdogs on chains. Well, they still do, don't they? But not allowed to talk about it. Not allowed to talk about it. But that's what they did. They chained it up in the farmyard and only used it when they wanted to use it. Or perhaps they never used it because it used to run off and not listen to them. So, come on. You've got to help me tonight. I'm struggling. Come on. There's got to be something on here we can talk about, surely. 11 minutes and 50. I keep looking at the clock for some reason. Tonight, I'll tell you exactly what the situation is, but you'd only laugh. You piss yourself, you lot. No, so I'm not telling you. I'll just sit here and suffer. No. Okay. Okay, I'll just sit here and suffer then. Don't worry about me. I'll be all right. Okay, I'm gonna confess. I'm gonna confess because no one else wants to talk about anything else. I'm just gonna confess. Yes, but you don't seem to see it here. Go on, Chris. Tell us. Okay, Denver. I will tell you. Hold on to your hats. Evening all. Sorry, I'm late. Karen, any chance of you coming on here and taking over the show for a few hours, or for half an hour, or whatever? Because to be honest with you, I struggled to get on here tonight. I wasn't panicking. I don't panic, but I was just thinking, I don't want to be late. I don't want to be late. And then I needed to go. I started having stomachache, very, very bad stomachache, to be honest with you. I'm being totally honest, like very, very bad stomachache. And I thought, I need to go to the toilet. And I had some wind. We'd been out for dinner, see? And we'd been standing on the cliff tops. But I had this dinner, and I didn't particularly like it that much. And then I was all right until I couldn't believe it. 10 minutes before the show starts. And then I started getting this terrible wind. And I kept thinking, oh my God, my belly. So I raced to the toilet and literally, it's too much information really, isn't it? I couldn't, I thought I best get off the toilet because I'm going to definitely be late if I don't hurry up because I haven't got it set up properly yet. And so I raced as fast as I could and then got back here. And I'm sitting here actually crouched up with my belly, with belly pains. So if you look at me, and I'll keep going, I've freaking got belly pains and they keep coming and going. Normally with my belly, when that happens, it's like a volcano at some point. So if you see me running in the opposite direction, too much information. Sat beside me, she's laughing her head off. Yeah, it's all right, isn't it, for some, isn't it? You have a freaking laugh. I mean, what happens when you go live? Have an early night, Chris. We will forgive you. Freaking hell, you might have to, Frank, in a minute. Honestly, I keep looking at the clock going, please. 14 minutes gone. And where are we going? I might be going in that direction. Shut up, you lot. I've been getting a few clients recently with cockers with aggression. Oh yeah, they are just pushing. That's why I won't keep reading everything out. If I'm reading it, I'm not thinking about my stomach going. Ooh. They are pushing boundaries and need leadership. Been, hey, I could go out there to the toilet, couldn't I? Sit on the toilet for 15 minutes, and Susie Two Shoes could come in and run the show. See what she's doing? She's just giggling in the background. It would be a lifesaver, wouldn't it? She could come on and she could answer the questions, couldn't she? She's been doing it long enough. McGarry says, I've been having a few clients recently with cockers with aggression. They are pushing boundaries and need leadership. Been to a new gun dog client tonight whose dog is just taking the piss. There you go, Gary. There you go. Gary, what happened to your man? Did he give us permission to put that video up or not? I won't mention his name. Did he give permission? I've been that busy running around. Did he give permission to put that video up? Has he been back to you? So Denver, you've gone quiet. I went and told you that was the news. You thought I was pregnant, didn't you, Denver? 16 minutes. 16 minutes I've sat here with nothing but pains in the stomach. Is it everyone left? I froze. Has everyone left? After that, too much information? Thought you were pregnant. Thanks, Denver. Thanks very much. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, never. Just imagine that. Just imagine you shite yourself alive. Imagine. He's not answered yet. Oh, right. He's not answered yet, says Gary. Yeah. Just imagine you shite yourself live, on live TV, on live. Honestly, I wonder if you get more views as I'm running off into the opposite direction. So if this suddenly goes dead and I end the stream, I have a big red panic button here. If it hits me that hard, and I'm fighting it, trust me, it hits me that hard and it ends instantly, then you can sit there chuckling and think, bloody hell, I wonder if he made the bog. I wonder if he made the bog. 17 minutes and still sitting here, eh? What a maverick. What a maverick. You think about it. I've been watching them freaking pilots flying those tornadoes, and that is a new thing in the RAF on TV. Have you seen how lenient they are with them compared to Army and Navy when they talk to them, the superior officers? Have you seen them? They're treated like freaking completely different. I thought the military were harsh on people. Obviously not the bloody RAF. Different world, isn't it? But just imagine sitting in one of them planes. You've took off and suddenly get the shits. What are you going to do then? You're going to have to poop your pants, aren't you? Nigel, I think you want to see me explode on the telly, don't you? You want to see me explode on the internet. Do you know, 2 days ago, Nigel, Sue came in late and I looked onto the shelf for something to drink. There was nothing there at all. Oh, I tell a lie. There was about that much port. And I normally save the port for my cheese. And I don't drink it crazy. I just have a little tiny bit with my cheese. So there's normally some port in there. Anyway, I found that much port in the bottom of a glass. And I'd sat there all night and thought, no, I can manage. No, not have a drink all night. And then I freaking started looking around the house for alcohol. And the only alcohol I found was Sol's frigging homemade brew that would actually flush your system out completely. It's like paint thinners. And that snaps what you brought across for me, Nige. And I've had about that much out of the bottle. And that's about 50 sessions for me because it's like rocket fuel. It's like bloody rocket fuel. So that's the best question I've had this evening. It kept me talking for at least 2 minutes and not thinking about my belly rumbling. Kilukio. There you go. So I'm drinking tonight. Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm drinking. So any questions? Any questions? I hope she's not still laughing, Graham. I hope she's still not laughing. Good evening, Karen. Evening, oh, sorry. Sad news, everybody, about Michael M's Rottweiler. He's lost him today. Funny enough, when I was sitting in that restaurant, for some reason, somebody phoned me, and I pressed redial, and I phoned Michael, and so I got the message from Michael earlier before he put up on or when he put it up on YouTube or Facebook. Was it Facebook? I think. People don't realize, do they, that even though we can use discipline and we use correction on our dogs, the bond that we get with our dogs, because of that foundation that we build and that loyalty that we've got and the control that we've got, we work them in some wonderful situations, don't we? Hardest thing we have had to go through as dogs lovers is awful. I found it harder than losing me dad. Bloody hell. That's a strong statement, Karen. But hey, each to their own, eh? Each to their own. Yeah, I think it affects people differently, doesn't it? You know, I always remember my first winning bitch. My first winning bitch, I sold her to a lad in Sweden, and he won the Swedish Championship with her. And
She came second.
She came second. No, she came second in the Canadian in next to Sweden. But she came second in the Swedish Championship, but won the country next to it. Anyway, cut a long story short, after about 9 years, he had the dog. He contacted me, and he said, unfortunately, she's died. And she was the most wonderful bitch, and she's taught me so much, and I want to thank you for selling her to me. And he was only a young lad, he was only 19 at the time I sold him the dog. Yeah, Norway, I think, but one of the two, Finland, I think. And anyway, I just sat there on the computer on the table, crying, and I had tears pouring out. And she said, "What's the problem?" I said, "Oh, no, read this," and it just hit me, because what happens is, all those years come flooding back of those memories you had with that dog. And like I was explaining earlier, not earlier, but the other week, when I sell dogs that are fully trained, you remember them as they are. If you lose somebody in their youth, you won't see them grow old. You'll miss all that, but you don't see them deteriorate, do you? Like you do with your parents. You're born, they're your parents, and you see them deteriorate, don't you? And in some ways, although it's so hurtful and you never forget it, it preps you for death, doesn't it? Watching the decline. Where if you lose somebody at a young age, or you know somebody, a mate or something like that, who's lost at a young age, you always remember them at that age, don't you? And that's the same as those dogs. And the memories that I have had, I am just so lucky to have had such wonderful memories of those dogs. And I think that is the thing that keeps me going with all these dogs. And Jeff Divine Jones has just put up a video. I just watched Jeff Divine Jones. He's put up a video of one of his champions that he's lost, and he's devastated. It's the memories. It's those memories. We probably, some of us boys, have had hundreds of dogs over the years, but it's the ones that you became so attached to, that you gained success, or they were headstrong as youngsters, and you managed to address it and change the mindset and have a wonderful relationship with that dog. It's the relationships we have, and yet dogs can go wrong, but I don't think dogs want to be argumentative, do they? Dogs don't want to go out of their way looking for an argument. Well, women are completely different kettle of fish, aren't they? Women.
That's because we've got to put up with you men.
That's what Sue says. That's because you've got to put up with you men.
There's a question from Steve Morton.
I love women. I absolutely adore women. I do. I honestly do. If you said to me, there's a bloke over there who wants to have sex with you. I said, you can sod off. You can sod off. I don't want to, thank you. If you said to me, there's a woman over there, she wants to have sex with you, I'd have to ask Sue. Shut up, you lot. I'm trying to stop thinking about me belly. Don't know what I'd do when I lose Bracken. He's the best dog I've ever had, and the bond I have is unmatched. I will be a mess, guaranteed. Exactly. And that's the whole point, isn't it? Isn't it funny though that how people handle grief and the internet is a way of I don't know, opening up sometimes, isn't it? Opening up. Oh, there goes one of them pains again. Honestly. Oh, that was a bad one. That was a bad one. Ellen 56. I lost my Springer 5 years ago. The day after I came across your old videos on YouTube, sat watching them, sobbing my heart out. Exactly, Ellen. Ellen, are you 56? Just my age. Ellen 56. No, I totally understand, and that's one of the reasons that I was absolutely gutted when those videos went missing on YouTube, because there were so many dogs on there that belonged to clients, and they cherish those videos, and they love those videos, and that they were the ones that bothered me more than anything, weren't they, Sue?
Yeah.
The clients' videos we lost. The clients' videos.
There's a message from Steve Morton.
He said I keep my dog in boxes all around the house. Do you know what, Steve? It's all different for everyone, isn't it? And if it gives you comfort, and I say, go for it if that's what you got. Steve, stop it. This is getting terrible. I've got my mother and my daughter together and brothers together. What the freaking hell's been happening in your house, Steve? Freaking hell, Steve, stop it. It's freaking getting scary now. Bloody hell. You've had it bad then, haven't you? Freaking hell. Do you think it gets easier, Steve? Does it get easier as you get older? Oh, I've got mother and daughter. I thought you meant your freaking Steve. I thought you meant your family. With dogs.
I knew he meant dogs.
Oh, sorry, Steve.
There's a question comment.
Jesus, I thought that's too much information. You got them all lined up on the freaking on the mantelpiece. I thought you were a killer.
There's a question from Steve about Gary.
What are your thoughts on trying to train GSP rescue from export street dogs as opposed to puppy friend of mine who's great. Steve, absolutely unbelievable. GSPs are not the easiest dogs to train. A GSP that's had freedom and been a street dog, you're really, really going to struggle. Trust me. What do we do with them all one day? Yeah, you're right. I got spots where I've just gone out and dug favourite areas where I've worked dogs and stuff like that. Dug a hole, put a dog in it, filled it up. And when I go back to those spots, I think so-and-so's buried there, so-and-so's buried there. Each to their own, innit? Each to their own, how you handle grief, how you handle pain. Because it's painful, isn't it? It is painful. And like I was explaining, and I wasn't being nasty, I've sold so many dogs over the years. Once I've won with them, or not like everybody, wife says they're going with her. Steve, stop it. What are you planning on? In our house, outside the back door, I've dug a trench, and there's a spade there. And Sue said to me the other day, "What's that spade for?" I said, "That's where I'm going to bury her." Every time she looks at that freaking spade and that hole at the side of she knows I'm building a flower bed. I was just taking a mickey. But if for a few weeks in the future, if you don't see her on here and she's not coming on live, then you know where to tell the police to dig, don't you? I just need that digging. It's freaking hard ground. My one male is very special to me. Oh my God. I named it. My one male is very special to me. Actually named him after that cocker you had, Chris. No. Not the one that went to that bloody farmer. Susan, what was his name? I can't even remember him.
Said it.
You've said it, Denver. You've given it away. Raffy. Yeah, Rafa. He was a boy, wasn't he? Rafa was a boy. Who remembers the first video of Rafa with the lady who had him? Lovely. What was her name again? Sophie. Sophie, her name was. And she had 2 kids. And I always remember her saying, I wanted to buy a lapdog, and my husband said, get him. Sophie, that was it. Yeah. Julian Lee, Sophie. Yeah, Julian wouldn't forget the girls. No, and I tell you what, he writes all the names down. I tell you what, when you ask, he's like an encyclopedia of all the women who've been on the show, who's been here over the years. She was a lovely girl, wasn't she? And we turned Rafa around. And funny enough, I don't know if you've seen the post on Facebook. Rafa's owner now wants to start training dogs. What's his name, Susan?
Oh, Brett.
Freaking, I thought I'd had her then. I was going to, if Brett was listening, he's going, what? You don't know my name, cheeky cow? Brett absolutely loves Rafa. And what advice can I give Brett? Hey, life's too short. If you want to have a go at training somebody's dog, train the dog. If it's a one-off and you're not taking money for it, Brett, then if you say to those people, listen, I haven't got any liability insurance, I'll train your dog, but I can't get paid for it. If you want to give me a drink out of it once I've trained it, that's up to you, but I'm not going to charge you, but you're going to have to take out insurance for it in case anything happened to the dog. So if the dog got run over or anything happened, it would be down to the owner and not Brett. But if you're taking on a number of dogs, the first thing I say is make sure you've got insurance. Make sure you've got liability insurance. And if you start taking money off people, and especially if it goes wrong, someone's going to freaking straight away contact the freaking tax man and go, this person's been having money off me and I'm not happy. And it will cause trouble. It's not worth it. Honestly, you don't want to upset the tax man. Trust me. I love Rafa, says Gary Marriott. You love everything freaking scruffy and brown. You love anything scruffy and brown. Top videos. Gary Marriott, Brett. There you go. 32 minutes. Oh my God. How much longer, Sue?
27 minutes.
Right. I'm not being funny, everyone. I've struggled on here tonight, and I need to go to the toilet. It's beat me. So I'm going to have to say bollocks and good night, everybody. And I'll catch you next week. And I'm sorry, so sorry. Unless somebody just wants to talk on their own. Oh, it's gone again. I'm all right for 5 minutes. I'll tell you what, it's like a volcano ready to explode. It's like a rocket ship on its way to Mars, on a collision course, out of control. That's Queen, isn't it? Don't stop me now. That's what I'm freaking saying. Poor Sue. No, I'm not farting. I'm not farting. She can't freaking feel my pain. I know we're close, but she can't feel my pain. She's over there laughing, having a freaking laugh. So anyway, I have seen you tonight, and I don't mean to cut it short, but honestly, trust me, I'm not making excuses.
I'm going to get a peg.
She's going to get a peg, Sue says. I'll tell you what, you talk amongst yourselves. I'll leave the live feed on, and when it happens, Sue can shout, "Here she blows."
You've got a question, yeah?
Oh, Brian Johnson, thanks for hanging me on. I have a 13-month-old cocker retrieves well with a tennis ball, but when hunting will not pick it if tossed out for her to hunt. Any advice be appreciated. Yes, Brian, you shouldn't be hunting with the dog if the dog's not retrieving very well. I would not go hunting with the dog. I see it so many times. People race the hunting, and the hunting becomes more valuable than the retrieving. We've seen it so many times. Don't send him any whiskey. Send him underpants, guys. Yeah, come on, Karen. Listen. When I used to go to Scotland, I used to go commando. I'll have you know. None of this freaking lighting a fire and cooking your meat. I used to eat it raw. Insurance is cheap and gives you peace of mind. Yes, without fail. Go have an emergency poo, says Guy Marriott. The pain's gone again now. We can all stay here for another 25 minutes if you like. When it comes, and I think, here it goes. She's going to blow. She's going to blow. Is it Klingons on the starboard bow? Remember that song? I don't know why I said that. I do, because she's going to blow, Captain, halfway through the song. Remember that? She's going to blow, Captain. So, any more questions as fast as you can? Do you still do the tour of Scotland? We were going to do the tour of Scotland. Unfortunately, where we were going to go, it had to be cancelled, unfortunately. So I couldn't promote it where I was actually Phantom Crapper. No, it's not a phantom. You'll see it happen. You'll see it happen in a minute if we carry on. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be going this year because of the situation that's happened, unfortunately. And I can't say nothing about it because the person who we were going to go to has asked me not to say nothing about it. So I can't. It's as simple as that. You doing any trips this year, Chris? I'm hoping to, Denver. I'm hoping to. Love the videos as you travelled. Yeah, they would have been better, Steve, if I'd not broken down. I think I've done 3 trips to Scotland on the bounce, and then on the way back, well, I was in Isle of Skye. And no, I wasn't. I was up further up, wasn't I? A lot further up. And me horse lorry got a petrol blockage in the fuel pipe. And they said they'd fix it, and they didn't fix it, and they towed me back. And that was a nightmare. Who remembers that? That was 3 years ago now. 3 years ago. Or was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago. Client I had tonight has done the same with hunting. Exactly, Gary. Because would be interested in joining with Rafa. Well, this is the different Rafa. This is your Rafa, not Rafa.
Yeah.
Is it Newcastle way, Boyle? Is it Newcastle? Newcastle way. He'll say, no, it's nothing like Newcastle. It's like 30 miles from Newcastle. We're not allowed to advertise where Brett lives in case people go around there and steal Rafa. So there you go. You can overdo it with the hunting, just like you can overdo it with retrieving. The issue is people out there, dogs on scent too early with little training and little knowledge of the damage. Yeah, exactly. It can cause it, can't it? The amount of young dogs that I see, people I'm not showing off, but giving demonstrations of a little dog head down, hunting like a demon. And the amount of people I know that then struggle to get them to push them back, and they can't get them to handle them when they're older because they've put too much into the dog too soon. One of the things I always say to people is, why are you in a hurry to rush it? If it takes you an extra 6 months to train your dog by not rushing it, and you have a dog for 10 years and it's a fantastic dog compared to a dog that's a pain in the arse because you rushed it, you ruined it. And not being funny, the majority of people on here wouldn't get rid of a dog once they've bought it. So why mess it up in the first place? Why not listen to someone who's been there and seen it? And why not follow success? If you see people getting success in the group and you do what they're doing in the group, you're going to get success. It would have been great, Gary.
Yeah, because Gary said was looking forward to Scotland, and Denver said would have been a great, Gary.
Yeah, it would have. It would have. If I get enough people, if I get 30 people in the group, go, yeah, come on, let's sort out a day we can meet somewhere, and you're interested in it, then we'll do it. But I mean, we need a minimum of 20, else it's not worth doing it for the cost of it all, for traveling for everybody. But it would be nice, wouldn't it, if 30 of us met up, wouldn't it? Anyway, I've got to go. Something's happened. Catch you all later. Bye. Oh!